Hello, YouTube. It's your girl Leela. Today is November 11th, and it's Veterans Day. So I want to dive into that topic first, and then I'll dive into the next topic. I want to say Happy Veterans Day to all those vets, especially my grandfather. His name is Eddie Arnold Ezel, and he died in 1976. And my grandmother and him are buried side by side along with my mother. And I want to say it's sad when I think about Veterans Day and vets and the people that we lost along the way. It's really sad in my grandmother's case because, like I said before, my grandfather died in 1976 and 78, and my grandmother never remarried, and she had to raise her children, by herself, and it was hard for her. And I remember she worked up until she died. And I think that's devastating. Like, her husband went off to war and, fought for our country. Um, Even when he came back, he was a police officer. And it it's crazy. It's so crazy how south everything went. Like when I look at my family, yeah, I got some good family members. Everybody is all right. But we got a lot of people that has been in and out of jail, and I feel like their opportunity of seeing a good role model, a good example, was taken from them. You know what I'm saying? And nobody stepped up to fill that void because my grandmother, she never remarried. She never, from what I understand, never had another boyfriend, nothing. It was just my grandfather. So, and he died in 78 and my grandmother didn't die until 94. So that's a long gap. That's a big gap to be without nobody, you know what I'm saying? And my grandmother, like my mother died, so that was a lot to take on, you know what I mean? And then, because my mom had three kids and she was already raising my brother John, so she had to take on an infant. I was 3 months old, my brother was two. So you taking on a newborn baby and a fucking 2-year old, and your daughter died, and I just feel like my grandmother shouldn't have had to work at 70 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially since my grandfather served in the military. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully later on today, I'm not making any promises, but I'm gonna go out there, and I normally go out there and talk to my mom on her birthday anyways. So I'll just show you their headstones or whatever. um but it's crazy to me, man. It's crazy because when you think about life and you think about where we come from and shit like that, I think that's where we fell off, is when my grandfather died. Because he was the male, he was the positive influencer, he was the one that was supposed to make the money and stuff. And when he died, a few of my uncles had to like drop out of school and take on jobs and stuff to help support the family. And it's hard. Like, I know it was hard for them. you know i I mean, it just breaks my heart that nowadays, we military get 20% discount and all that other shit. And I'm grateful for that and I'm happy for that. But back in the day, they didn't have that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, my grandmother, I feel like he served, he did his time, and he passed away. And I feel like the government should have helped my grandmother a little bit more instead of all her fucking kids dropping out of school. That led a cycle of dropouts. And everybody knows when you go and doing labor and you're working and you go to the doctor and they prescribed you medicine, then that became the epidemic of drugs in my family. Truthfully and honest, looking back at it, you know what I'm saying? Damn. How do we change this cycle? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I tried so hard to change the cycle. That's why I was going to school and I was working, and I tried so hard to keep my relationship with Juan, because today we just throw people away because we can just get another person. We can just get another boo. We can just get someone else to rely on. And I didn't want that. I wanted what my grandmother and grandfather had. And, I never expected my life to have three baby daddies. And then on top of that, all my children been taken by CPS. Like, that would have never fucking ever been a dream of mine. So why teach someone new? You know what I get it. If it don't work out with someone, it don't work out. You know what I mean? But I mean, I I'm comfortable with Juan. I'm happy with Juan. I love Juan. I respect Juan. He loves me. He respects me. He'll do anything for me. He'll do anything for our children, his children. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just, I guess what I'm saying is, damn, when your foundation to your house starts to deteriorate, then eventually it's going to crumble unless, you fix it. And no matter how bad you keep on putting books or whatever, or you got to fix the issue. And a lot of the times we just keep on covering these cracks up with duct tape, and it's not fixing the issue. And it's hard work to fix a generational problem. Like, that's as clear as I can get. I'm just speaking from my heart, talking about Veterans Day and what it means to me. And when I think about Veterans Day, I think about my family and my grandfather, and how this horrible epidemic happened, all because our grandfather died. Well, their father. You got to think, like, this shit didn't start off with me. You know what I mean? But me being young and my mother did die, I got to see all my family. I got to live with everybody. I remember living with my Aunt Shirley. I remember living with my Aunt Ann. I remember my Uncle Larry living across the street from my Aunt Shirley. Like, I remember all of that because they were, passing us around so we wouldn't end up in foster care, but we ended up in foster care anyways, and somehow that cycle led to my children. And for what, I'm not quite sure, because when I think back of everything that I did in my life, it was always for my kids. And even Juan being around was for my kids. I have 3 children with him. I met him when Sebastian was 8 months old. Sebastian's my 4th child. And, it is what it is. He's been good to us. He's been good to me. People don't want to look at how you met and how you started off. They look at, oh, he's this or he's that, and they don't even give him a chance. All he knows is he wants his children. Um, the little bit of time that he could spend with his kids, they were getting fucked up. I mean, if you go to visitation expecting to see your kid and they're already 15 minutes late, and they're not going to add on another 15 minutes because they got more parents coming in after you to take that slot, and that's time wasted with your child, and then you fucking the child comes and you see your kid and they're fucked up, and you're like, how the fuck did this happen? And but you're not allowed to talk or ask questions in front of the children or speak to the fucking foster parent, so you got to do like a third party situation. But when you start talking to the people at visitation, they're telling you, hey, we got to hurry up because we got clients coming in that need it, that need this slot. So I mean, it's all bullshit. This whole government shit is bullshit. I know y'all are probably tired of hearing about my issues, but everything that I think about relates to my kids. Like, fuck, if this wouldn't have happened somewhere down in the line, maybe it would have been a different result. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in a different dimension. I'm happy. Man, I got all my children. We're living in a big mansion. My brothers are there. My mom didn't die, But I mean, I always try to be positive. I never knew my mom. I always wanted to know my mom. I always had that lust to know my mom. And I think that's because I got raised with her family. You know what I'm saying? They would always speak highly about my mother and, talk good about her. And by the way, it's my mom's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. She would have been 64 years old. She did die. I'm almost 32, so almost 32 years ago. And I miss you. Me and my brother Bryant, we used to always talk and fantasize about our mother. And when I look back at my brother's life and I think about my children, and I know that he always had a lust for our mom. Like, he always would talk about her and would always think about her. And I would too. But, it wasn't that deep for me. And I think about my kids, my younger kids, and I just think about how they need that connection with me. They need that bond with me. I feel like if they don't have it, then they're forever going to feel empty until they see me, you know what I mean? Or until we get that relationship or connection again. And it bothers me. It bothers me. And I think about my future. I think that, damn, Juan is 10 years older than me. Well, almost. He's 8. He's 8 years older than me. But I'm sick. How did that happen? And like last night, I was really sick. Like, I was throwing up. I was woozy. And I don't know why. I don't know why. It could be a number of things. I was very emotional last night. I was crying. I keep trying to tell myself I'm going to fix my face. But no, I can't fix this shit. It's like, this is what happened when, even to, valleys or whatever. If you keep on having a stream, eventually it's going to, it's going to be on your face, and just like me. That's a metaphor. Anyway, so I just want to tell you guys it's my mother's birthday as well. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you. I respect you. And I'm grateful that you had me. I will always be grateful. But yeah, today's Veterans Day, and I got a lot of feelings and emotions on the subject. I do respect what my grandfather did for me, for us to be here. I just wish that they would have treated his widow wife with a little bit more, a little bit more help. Not necessarily like a handout, but damn, she had all those kids and it was hard on us. You know what I'm saying? As a family, of course, I didn't see none of that until not even none of it, because I was like 5 years old when my grandmother died. I do remember my grandmother, but you don't think of this type of shit when you're 5 years old. You think of this type of shit when your life is falling apart and you're trying to think, well, how the hell did I get such bad luck, or why is my family like this, or why do we have a generational curse? Well, how can we sit here and we break it? How can we break it? And we can, this is what I came up with. I think that life would have been different for my aunts and uncles, for my mother, if my grandmother would have had some type of support. I'll say that. And she didn't. So raising all those kids on her own, she had to do what she had to do. And a lot of the times when my aunts and uncles got a certain age, that was to basically, you know, go to work instead of finishing school. They had to do what they had to do. It was just that time, and you know what I'm saying. Probably rambling to you guys, but that's how I feel on that subject. Um, I mean, think about all type of cultures, and you know what I'm saying. Like when there's a house divided, then the family don't do as well. You know what I'm saying. The family don't do as well as it would do with another person to help with the baggage. And then of course other people and other families, and you know, you normally get an army of people, a village, to love and support you. But when you really don't have anybody and you meet someone that has a lot of people but don't really give a fuck about you, then you're only your own. You know what I'm saying? You got to make your own family, and that's like friends and loved ones that you know you meet along the way that got your back through thick or thin. And I've realized that for a long time I used to think that you know my family would be there for me for anything, but that's just not true. They're fixated on either materialistic items, or you know they're all fucked up in the head on drugs. And it breaks my heart because I felt like if we came together, if we became a unit, if we became, you know, something strong, we could be successful as a family. Even if, you know, we ran a business or anything, we would be successful. But they're not like that. Like, we're always dying off like flies. Every couple of months, I'm saying goodbye to somebody that I care about, that I love, that I've had a relationship with, either that I grew up or, you know, friendship along the way, whatever. And it's depressing. I'll be honest with you. Like, I still haven't been over to see my aunt, and I think about Crystal, and I just think that, you know, it's not the same. You know, it's not the same because I always go over there and I say, you know, how's Crystal? How's May May? How's whoever? And they're not there. And it fucking sucks. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. It sucks. It sucks when you haven't seen somebody for a while and you think that you can just go over there anytime you want. But it doesn't work like that. Ooh, I'm not gonna cry. All right. I think I'm gonna end it here because I am getting teary eyed. So y'all have a good day. Stay blessed.